All right, welcome back to Make It Yourself One. I just did a video probably 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, on my graphics, putting graphics on the IT400 plastic here. And I just kind of want to show you where I'm at right now. It has been a long time, but I have been busy, both with work and with this work as well. I just did a video about 5 minutes ago, and it had my finger in front of the camera the whole entire time, so I had to redo it. But just kind of a learn here as I go. So this is what I've got. I did the video on the gas cap. This is off of Raptor 660. This is the original tank. This is all going to be IT blue. When I put all this together, I didn't care for how this sat as far as the gaps and everything in here. So what I did was I took the original plastic piece that came here, and I cut that and put that here on the tank. And this is the original rear fender, and I put that in here and did some cutting and then grafted this on top of that. So it should give it a little more, when this is all light blue, it should give it a little bit more flow, I think, than what it has right now. And but this is I've done a video on this brake pedal. This is on, I'm probably going to drill this at some point, I would imagine. This is a Pro Circuit Woods arrestor, and that's going to go on here somehow like that. I haven't quite figured out how that's going to go. But I've done a video, I think the last video I did, I showed the graphics on the rear fender, and I just noticed this right here is below the seat, so this may come off of there and I have to redo that. That's going to kind of annoy me. But this is the other side, and did the same thing, just like I say, I put a piece of the rear fender there, and this little piece that came over here, cut it down and put it behind this number plate so it'll kind of flow a little better. These pegs are off of a YZ450, and I want to do something different with the gearing. It was geared for highway. All I'm ever going to do is trail ride it, and I would much rather sacrifice top end speed for low end. And I know this bike doesn't have a ton of power, so gearing it real low is not going to be a problem for me. And plus, I'm in my 50s. I ain't going to be setting any world records out there with speed, so this will be fine for me. But I went with a Moose front sprocket. It's a 14, and this is a 50. And if you're trying to redo the gearing on a 77 Dt 400, there's hardly any sprockets out there, unless you look for a Banshee. So this is off of a Banshee. So the bolt pattern is the same for a Banshee as a DT 400. And I got rid of this old system right here. I've never ever liked that. I had a 73 MX 250 that was like that, and I thought it looked terrible. And so what I did was I heated up these studs, took those out, and I found these bolts. Come on now. So I found these bolts, and went ahead and drilled the holes in there, and these are all going to be safety wired. So I think that'll look a lot cleaner, a lot better than the original setup there. I'm going with a YZ400 head. I'm eliminating the compression release. I've got a plug coming. It's not here yet, but I've ordered a plug that'll fit this, and I'll just cap this whole entire compression release off. I believe there's a video that mentioned I was working on this. I think it was all black at the time, and this has not been polished up. It was polished originally, but it's kind of faded over time. But I've drilled this. This is off an 82 IT250. This is all polished up. I did a video, I believe, on that front sprocket, and there's the front wheel. And Cash is not all this stuff is done on the cheap, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with these front wheels. They're all faded and grimy, and I've ordered some stuff that I'm going to put on there and give it a whirl and see how that looks. But I may end up doing something different. I'm not sure. But I got some new Michelins in that box right there. This is my front fender right here. And this is also off of a IT 400. It's an 80 or 80. It's a 76 IT 400. And if you notice, this is supposed to go on top. But I do not like that at all on top of the fender. And I haven't liked it at all. I've seen other bikes and I've tried to reconcile myself to that. But this right here is recessed and it looks like this should fit on top of there. So I just went with that. And so what I did was went down to Menards. These are just some polished steel machined screws. And then this is a it has a steel nut in there, but it's got a rubber flange on it, and when you screw it down, it spreads out. And so I personally like this better underneath than on top. And the only thing I can really think is going to be an issue maybe is getting dirt down underneath that. But again, I'm in my 50s. I'm probably not going to ride this thing a million, you know. I'm not in my 20s anymore, so I'm probably not going to ride. So this shouldn't really be a problem. My carburetor, I eliminated the split cable, and I bought this online, and it's so I can make it into just a single cable. Eliminating this. This is the original reserve. It's all gummed up. I think it works a little bit, but it's real stiff. I'd have to clean it up. But I went with a 81 YZ 465 petcock, which has no reserve, but it'll look a lot better, I think. I tried to come up with a different Kickstarter, but trying to find, I can find a better top end, but it won't match with this bottom end. And so I just went ahead and took the steel and polished it up. And again, it's kind of faded from sitting in the barn, but polished that up. Eliminating all of this. I'm gonna have to put a plug here. I've got a cap for the oil injector. Got a new cylinder, new piston, which you've seen the video on that, I hope. If you haven't, there should be links to all the other stuff there. This, I've drilled this. I just don't like this at all. And I'd like to get this as one piece. I've thought about cutting this out and then making some sort of a case saver here, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. These right here, I don't like these at all. These are the original shifters, and when I was a kid growing up, these were constantly bent, and I'd have to heat them up, bend them back, heat them up, bend them back. They were just junk, and I wanted something that was a folding shifter. And so I went on Partzilla, I think, maybe Partzilla. And Partzilla has a bunch of cross-reference for part numbers. And I did a ton of cross-referencing. And what I came up with was, this is a $10 shifter I got online. It's a folding shifter. If this works, I may end up going with a hammerhead probably. But this is off of a 2012 YZ85. And it fits right directly on there perfectly. So if I run into a snag with this breaks, or I don't like it, I can get another one. Going with the 73 MX250 bars or top clamp, because I don't like how these are set up where they're pushed back. What else have I done? This is off of an IT 400, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if I'm going to keep going with it or not. This has been kind of an experiment. I've never worked with hammering metal before, and I've always wanted to try. So I had a big opportunity here, because this originally was straight right here, and so I had to hammer it out to cover the old oil injector, and then I had to hammer this out to cover the magneto. And I don't have a welder, so I've been experimenting with the Aluma weld, and this looks like junk right there, but there's Aluma weld all over this here. covering up big gouges and gashes. So this doesn't speak well for a limb weld, but this does because it's all over here. This thing had big, massive gouges in it, and I cleaned it all up, heated up with a MAP gas torch, put a limb weld in there, and sanded it all off, and you can't even tell it was there. So this is a work in progress. This may end up working, it may end up not working, I'm not sure. But I just kind of tinker on it whenever I get a chance, but this is kind of jacked up looking. And what else have I done? I think that's about it. So that's kind of bringing everything up to date to what I've been doing, what I'm planning on doing, where I'm going with this. Like I say, it's on a budget, so I just kind of do things as I get time. The big gap between videos has been because of lack of money, lack of time. As I get a little money trickling in here and there, I add a few things here and buy a couple things here and there. And so I'm gonna go make sure my finger's not in the way like it was last time. And thank you guys very much for watching.